Hello and welcome to the first episode of 3Cap, a map-by-map series of Call of Duty's Domination game type. The first map we'll be looking at is one of the smallest in Modern Warfare 3, Dome. Mostly we'll cover opening routes, spawn nades, and end with how to hold another team on just one flag. My name is Time itself and I'll be narrating. Kino has done a great job pulling all the information together for this, making the graphics, scripting, and well, pretty much everything else. Let's get started. First, starting spawns. The factions on Dome are Russian Spetsnaz and American Delta Force. Delta spawns next to the Alpha flag here, close to the Dome. Spetsnaz spawn on the high ground between the Humvees between Bravo and Charlie. You can also see the flag positions on the map. The first flag to be captured will always be Delta Force's home flag, Alpha. The Spetsnaz will typically take Bravo shortly after. Because of the spawn the Spetsnaz get, they could also push Charlie early, leaving Bravo open to an early attack from Delta. Speaking of early attacks, let's talk about effective opening rush routes and nades you can use on Dome. They could swing the match in your favor before it's even begun. First, the more difficult Delta Force side. Here's Route 1. Aggressive, straight to the door of the Charlie bunker. You'll need to lead with a stun here, as at least one guy is already prone on the flag. Then you need to take him out, prone, at a distance. A medium range gun like an ACR is probably your best bet. Route 2, slightly more conservative, holding back a rush through the center of the map. You probably need to pick up at least one kill in the alley before you get to the middle. This is a common route for the Spetsnaz as well. An SMG is best here, just because of that corner you'll turn and often come face to face with an enemy. Finally, Route 3, the most aggressive for Delta. It's your job to take out the enemies capping Bravo, or at least kill them off the flag and begin capping it for yourself if you can't get there in time. An SMG is probably the best option here. Just remember to pre-fire the corner as you get line of sight on Bravo. There will be an enemy waiting. Each of the nades should land around about the icon on the screen, and each one of them complements the corresponding rush route perfectly. For maximum efficiency, you'll want to employ all of these at the start at the same time. The enemy won't know what hit them. Let's take a look at all three. You might want to pause the video and see exactly where you're meant to look. Watching this in 720p will also help. Now we'll begin with the same things, but this time for the more advantageous Spetsnaz side. We'll begin again with opening routes. There will be less to say about these as they correspond to the Delta ones. Let's take a look. One more thing, for each of these routes, an SMG is the recommended weapon. Route 1 mainly looks to stop the likely Delta push to Charlie. By dropping down into the C bunker through the hole blown on the side, you'll probably take a Delta rusher by surprise. Route 2 is another aggressive mid-map push moving towards the alleyway and Dome ramp, directly towards the Delta spawn. This is best run by two players, one turning left down the alley, another one going right down the ramp towards the Dome. The final route should be played fairly conservatively. It's mainly aimed at blocking the enemy rush onto B. Off the spawn, your team is going to want to try to get Charlie and Bravo capped as fast as possible, so this job is easiest. Lock down the corridor leading to the Bravo flag room. You should be good. And finally, the three nades on the Spetsnaz side. The one landing in the loading dock and the one on the Dome side are the priority. Their purpose is to stop the enemy's opening attacks, and slowing them down, maybe even picking up a kill. The A-Dom nade is more of a luxury one. If you're feeling confident and want to set the enemy back early, this is a good option. To round out this episode, we're going to look at a few setups that can be used in the middle of the game to help you lock the other team into one spawn. Although this is considered not so nice, unsporting, maybe even lame, if you're playing another organized team, it's important to know about the spawns on any map and how you can use them to your advantage. Use these maps to plan out your team's setups. Each area is marked where you do not want to go if you're trapping the enemy team onto each respective flag. If you wander into those areas, the enemy spawn will flip, resulting in you and your teammates getting shot in the back. I'll leave this up for a few seconds, so you might want to pause and work out where you should be to defend while avoiding the no-go zones. I'll also note that it really is easy to move the spawn around on this map. If you only have one flag and the enemy has two, it's fairly easy to push on the enemy's two flags so hard that even before you've taken them, they're spawning back on your one flag. That brings us to the end of the first episode of 3Cap. I want to thank Kino for all his hard work in putting this together and for inviting me to help with this project for excellency. Next, we'll be covering Lockdown. I want to thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this short informative video, and I look forward to seeing you next time.